Welcome to Community Links. My name is Giovanna Vialdoris, and I'm with First Five San Joaquin, and we're uh, really excited about our topics today. But I want to give you, just before we get started, a little bit of background on Community Links. If you give me just a second, though, because I need to sort out my slide deck. One moment. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Are you guys seeing my slides okay? And just my slides, not my notes? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So welcome. Welcome again. So a little bit about community links. We always have new faces and new organizations that are able to join. And so it's always a pleasure to have you be able to join the Community Links meeting. But the goals of this meeting really are to share information about a program or services or spotlight a resource. And so we typically focus on one or two kind of programs or resources in the community to spotlight for the meeting. And we really just want to raise awareness about the supports that are available to help the families that you all are serving. A secondary goal is also to provide an opportunity for you all to connect with each other. So we know that we can sometimes learn lots from our peers and partners. And so this space is also an opportunity for that as well. And so today, um, as I mentioned, really excited about the topics that we're covering. So we are going to be talking about Know Your Rights and some resources for immigrant families here in San Joaquin County. And so excited to have El Concilio be with us here today to share on that topic. We know that you all are serving families that are concerned, that are afraid. And so we want to make sure that we're providing the opportunity for you all to be equipped with some resources and information to support those families you're working with. And then we're also going to be talking about transitional kindergarten and kindergarten readiness. And I have a 4-year-old who is getting ready to go to kindergarten, and she is super excited about it. And I feel really fortunate to have the connection that I do to the ECE world via First Five, and which has really equipped me to help prepare her and do all the things to make sure that she's, as ready as possible to be successful, when she enters school. And you all are working with many families that are in similar positions. They have kids that are of age, whether it be to enter preschool or transitional kindergarten or kindergarten. And you all are in just really the prime positions to really support them in that transition and help them get their kids ready for school. And so we have experts with us here today from the ECE team at Stockton Unified School District. And so really excited to be able to dive into that topic as well. All right, so I just want to start with a few acknowledgments for some observances this month. And so perfect timing that March 14th is National Preschooler Day as we're, diving into this topic a little bit of about school readiness. And so just a note that March 14th is National Preschooler Day. And so it's a really good opportunity to talk about preschool, promote the value of preschool, the benefits of preschools to the families that we're working with. Also, March is National Social Work Month. Some of you may know, others may not, but First Five is a part of our Human Services Agency, which is home to a lot of social workers that do great work in the community. And so we just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the wonderful work that social workers do throughout our community here in San Joaquin County. Okay. All right. So I'm going to transition. Sometimes we do a warm-up activity. Today we won't because we have a very full agenda and we want to make sure that we give sufficient space and time to be able to dive into these topics and for you all to be able to engage in dialogue with our presenters today. So we won't have that warm-up activity and we're going to jump right into our presentations today. And so first, we have Nelson Ibarra with El Concilio. He's an immigration attorney with Legal and Protective Services with El Concilio, California. And he's going to be sharing on Know Your Rights. So, Nelson, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I'll stop sharing so you can share on your end.
Thank you. And then I'll start this. Just give me a second. And thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity. I don't know if can everyone hear me okay or
We can hear you.
okay, thank you. So then I'll start here. Okay. So again, my name is Nelson Ibarra. I'm with El Concilio within the Legal and Protective Services Department. El Concilio is a big organization. It contains different departments within it. We do provide different services to the community, but specifically, I'm within this department. Within the Legal and Protective Services Department, there's three various programs, and I'll just mention them briefly before I go into my presentation. There is the Victim Witness Program or assistance with victims of crime. So anyone that maybe needs assistance with restraining orders, legal, maybe translations of documents and they've been victimized, assistance with preparation of a police report, they can head to our office and obtain assistance through that. We also have a new program through Schreiber Grant, which is based out of San Joaquin County. So anyone that's an undocumented tenant who is low income and is facing eviction can receive assistance through that program as well, with preparation of a response, review of legal documents if they are in not immigration court, in eviction court. Similarly, for landlords, we can help them if they're within the San Joaquin County and they are low income. We can help with the preparation of unlawful detainer documents. So this program through the Schreiber Grant, it is restricted to San Joaquin County, but it does provide assistance in landlord-tenant issues. And then the bigger department within the Legal and Protective Services department, or the bigger program, is the one that I'm with, which is the immigration program. And we do provide assistance to individuals, again, low income, regardless of what county they're from. At this time, we have exhausted all our consultations as far as meeting our numbers, but if there's anything as far as a quick question or any maybe an emergency, you can always reach out to us. And then I'll just go ahead and start the presentation. I know that at this time there's a lot of information floating out there about immigration raids. These presentations are here. We're holding these presentations just to let the community know that there is information that is misinformation. So we want to try to clear that so that everyone's aware of that. Particularly for ICE, they're not going to be just targeting everyone. There are, at least at this time, there are priorities that they must follow. So who is generally a priority? Basically, people who have been involved in certain criminal issues, people who are in jail because of certain criminal issues, and people who have been in immigration court, so through the immigration system. So the way that ICE operates is that they're not just going to be casting such a wide net, because otherwise they would be having encounters with individuals who not necessarily are going to be able to be removed through expedited removal. So generally, immigration is going to go out, or ICE, which is the enforcement branch of immigration, is going to try to target individuals who are maybe going to be able to be just detained and removed from the country through an expedited mean, which again would be individuals with some criminal issues, individuals who have already been in immigration court, had their immigration court and either didn't attend or maybe they lost their case and have been issued a removal order, or individuals who have submitted an application for some type of form of relief and it's been denied. So I think it's important to let our community know that although there is information out there that there are immigration raids just happening throughout the county, they are being more specifically targeted to certain individuals just so that they can remove them through expedited means. That does not mean that when they're executing that removal order, there might not be encounters with individuals who might not be that ICE might not be having a warrant for. So there are chances, for example, if someone would be driving in a car and the person has a deportation order and that they stop the car through that, the other individuals in the car might be detained as well, or they might be questioned, right? So we want the community to know maybe how to answer some of those questions that they are going to be asked and how to maybe navigate those situations so they can kind of de-escalate the situation. And if it's possible, just walk away from that encounter, right? And walk away safely. Um, One of the other things that I try to make individuals know is that just because you're detained by ICE doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be deported, right, or removed from the country. Sometimes if you have been living here for a certain amount of time, have family members here, and depending on how many entries you have, and depending on your crimes, it could be that being placed in removal proceedings, so being placed before a deportation hearing, right? It could be a benefit. It could be to your benefit, just because there are some forms of immigration relief, so some forms of getting a green card that aren't available to you otherwise, unless you're in front of an immigration judge, right? So, but as far as just letting the community know at this time, ICE is enforcing these priorities. It's not going to be something that they're just going to be randomly checking everyone, right? And then I'm going to go over some scenarios, maybe, so how to approach these encounters should you have an encounter with ICE, right? Okay. So, and again, there are constitutional rights, and these rights are available to everyone, regardless of their status here in the U.S. These laws try to protect individuals so that law enforcement doesn't interfere with that person's rights, right? So I'm just gonna go really quickly because I know that I'm short on time, but okay. So Fourth Amendment, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. So this would protect someone not only if they're walking on the street, if they're in their car, right, but primarily also within their home, so that either ICE or a police officer wouldn't conduct a search unless there is some type of probable cause or there is a warrant, right? Um, so that's the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable searches and seizures, right to remain silent. Within the criminal context, this would be something that could be a defense, right? So if someone is stopped for suspicion of a criminal matter, that person could remain silent and could technically maybe even walk away, right? For immigration, it's a little bit different, just because there is an affirmative requirement for you to prove that you're not someone that's removable, but that would be something that maybe you can talk about during some of the scenarios that we're gonna have examples of. But it is sometimes advisable that if you get in a situation where someone is being questioned, sometimes not saying anything might be the best thing to do, even if you're going to be placed in detention or being placed before an immigration judge, just because you don't want to self-incriminate, maybe give information that maybe you shouldn't, right? So always remain silent. If maybe you're uh, intimidated, the best thing to do is just remain silent and ask for either an immigration judge and just verbalize that you're exercising that right to remain silent, right? Right to legal counsel. Again, just a lot of these instances that or these situations that we're going to talk about are a cross section between criminal and immigration law. In criminal proceedings, someone is entitled to have legal counsel appointed to them by the government. Unfortunately, for immigration, uh, individuals have a right to legal counsel, but it's going to be something that they have to either find themselves or pay or hire an attorney basically, or find an organization such as El Concilio or another organization that might assist them in their proceedings, right? This is something that there is a big gap where individuals who are coming from a foreign country, coming into a foreign language, they don't really know how to navigate some of the avenues here as far as maybe some of the organizations or even reach out to someone. They don't know the resources that are available and they're unable to find counsel, right? But individuals do have a right to counsel. If there's any document that's presented to them, I think it would be a good idea for any person not to sign anything unless they have someone like an attorney look over it. And this happens a lot with people who are detained. They're placed in detention, they're interrogated, and often officers tell them that if you sign this document, you're going to be signing a voluntary departure and then you can come back later. But unfortunately, they don't explain the full extent of the consequences of signing that document. Okay, and I clicked on the wrong thing, but yeah, signing that document might be something that's going to hurt them not just now, but down the line. Okay, and then know your rights cards. These are cards that are available. In most of our offices at El Concilio. If anyone needs one, we can provide for them. I think this barcode should lead to the website where you can print your own. So it would be something that you can give clients or give community members, just so that they have something to carry with them in case they have an interaction with ICE. I think the important takeaway from this is that if someone is detained or is questioned, they shouldn't just outright just pull out the card. this is more of a cheat sheet, right? And it's a tool, right? And we have to know how to use tools correctly. Otherwise, they could harm us, right? So if someone were to be just walking down the street and they were stopped by maybe someone who identifies themselves as an ICE officer, I think the first thing that they should do is just ask, why am I being detained, right? Because if they just pull out the card, that could be an indication that the person is someone who's foreign born, right? Or is not documented here in the US. So they would be basically giving away their rights, right? As far as being able to ask why they're being detained, because obviously walking down the street wouldn't be something that's illegal, right? Carry the card, but always read what's in the card. If you can, memorize it, memorize it. But if you get in a situation where you're having maybe an interaction with ICE and they're questioning you, and you get to the point where maybe you can't answer any more questions, or you feel that you can't answer any more questions safely, you can just pull out the card and just say that you don't want to speak anymore. Again, being detained isn't necessarily something that's going to lead to deportation. In certain situations, it could be a way for you to obtain some sort of status, right? So again, these are the red cards. They are available, but I think it's a cheat sheet. It's not going to be some like a remedy, right? It's just a tool that you have to use and know how to use. Okay. So I'm just going to go over some of the most common interactions that you might have with ICE. Traffic stops. What information should you provide? If you could give me a second, my battery's running low. But as far as interactions with vehicles, you do have to show your license and registration. Just because you have to show that you are authorized to operate that vehicle if you are the driver. If it's something where it's either police or sheriff, highway patrol, at least here in California, they aren't required to ask of you your immigration status, so that shouldn't be an issue. But they are required to ask you for your license and registration. So if it's safe for you to obtain a driver's license here in California, do it. At least that's what we tell clients, right? Just because it's not only a way for you to operate that vehicle, but it's also a way for you to obtain a photo ID that you can show, and it wouldn't be something that would maybe give the indication that you're foreign, right? A lot of people from our community, they carry either their passport or maybe a consular identification card with them as a form of identification. I think if they can obtain safely a driver's license or an ID from California, they should, just because that would be an extra layer of protection for them. Because if they present a passport that's from a foreign country, then there is going to be that indication by ICE, right? That that person is not a U.S. citizen. It could be that they could take it as an indication that that person is not a resident as well. What is ICE prevented from doing at traffic stops? If you can and you're a passenger and it's safe for you to do so, you should verbalize that you being detained as well if you're allowed to leave. And I think a lot of the things that are going to be talked about here in the different situations are going to be the same. It's going to be asking, why are you being detained, right? Or are you being detained? And if you're allowed to leave. If it's something that you can just merely walk away, or in this case would be drive away, right? But do it safely. If the officer isn't verbalizing anything, just let the community member know that they should tell that person or that officer, right? Okay, I'm going to be driving away. I'm going to be walking away unless I'm being detained. I'm just going to drive off, right? But do it safely. If it is a situation where someone does have a warrant, right, and they are detained, then under no circumstance should they try to resist arrest, because that could escalate the situation, make it more dangerous for yourself and for anyone around you. So, but as far as traffic stops, again, license and registration, the police and sheriff, highway patrol shouldn't ask you for your status. If it's something where you're being detained and it's safe to do so, or if your passenger is in a safe place, they can record the incident just in case that there is some type of breach of procedure. That could help you maybe if you were placed in immigration court, right? But that would cover traffic stops. And then if I'm short on time, let me know, just because I tend to talk a lot. Um, Home visits. So the home is the most protected space as far as where someone has the most protection. Um, what information should I provide? So if there is a knock at the door, right, and you can see that it's ICE or it's a police officer, unless they have a warrant, they shouldn't be able to enter the home. If if you don't have to, you shouldn't even like turn on the lights. You shouldn't even answer the door. You shouldn't even talk to them. Just because if they don't have a warrant, then there is no reason for you to engage with that person, right? If it were something that they would have a warrant and they're knocking at the door and they're saying that they should have a warrant, that they have a warrant, they would have to provide that. And it has to be the right kind of warrant. It can't just be an ICE warrant. There's different types of warrants. ICE usually carries ICE warrants, which are good for detaining, or they're valid for detaining an individual, right? But they might not be valid to enter a home, right? And if it's something that they are stating that they are allowed to enter their home, then they should provide that. They should be able to provide that warrant for you. I think in the next slide there should be examples of them. But yeah, so if it's not a nice warrant, then don't open the door, right? I know that sometimes there's children in the household, and if there's a knock at the door, maybe they rush to the door to open it. But even if it's a child opening that door, it could be taken as consent to that search. So just let children know, let other family members know, just to be aware that if there is that knock, don't even engage with them. If it's something that they don't have a warrant, probably they're just going to walk away. Can ICE forcefully enter my home? Yes, but they have to have that judicial warrant. It can't just be an ICE warrant. If they have that judicial warrant and they enter, obviously, just if it's safe, record the interaction. If they're just there to detain someone, then they're going to detain them, but just don't resist the arrest. Right. And here are examples of the warrants. On my right is the non-binding ICE warrant, which again is just going to say ICE. It doesn't have, a lot of times it's not going to have a signature. The other one, which is an actual judicial warrant, it does have the signature of a judge. It does come from a court, and it's going to specify if it's going to be for a place or for a person, right? And then, so these are going to be the types of warrants. If they present the other type of warrant, the ICE warrant, then that they shouldn't be able to enter the door. Okay. Public encounters, again, just like I mentioned, it's not illegal just to be walking down the street. If it was something where someone is detained or stopped, that person should try to de-escalate. And again, in every encounter, it should be something that they try to de-escalate. And you should be provided with the reason of why you're being stopped, right? If it's something that you're just being stopped and the officer or the ICE officer doesn't really mention anything of why is what the reason is for your being stopped, you can ask, am I being detained? If they don't say anything, you can just say again, I'm going to be walking away now, unless I'm being detained, right? And that person can try to walk away. If it's something that they start speaking to you, they're going to try to maybe elicit some information for you to kind of give them so they can detain you, right? They might act as your friend, maybe tell you, no, we're just looking for some people and we're just trying to talk a little bit, get some more information. But if you can just mention, am I being detained? Can I walk away? And if you can walk away, walk away. If they have a warrant for your arrest, right, which could happen for that person's arrest, then that person should be shown that warrant. And if it gets to that point, maybe that's when you show them the red card or just verbalize that you don't want to speak with them anymore, that you want to have an attorney present if there's any other question, right? And they should follow that. The other thing is, like I mentioned before, it could be that you might be placed in the detention cell and they might have you try to sign a document. Don't sign anything unless there's an attorney present, because it could be closing avenues for your future immigration relief if you sign a voluntary departure or maybe some other document, right? So just always be aware of that. They could try to intimidate you or try to intimidate community members, just telling them that you're going to be detained for years and years. Unless you sign this document, you're never going to see your family again, something like that. But I think that's just some way for them to try to get people to sign that document. Right? Okay. And then as far as preparation at this time, someone that's a legal permanent resident should be able to stay here in the U.S., but legal permanent resident isn't permanent, unfortunately. There are certain issues, right, that might place that legal permanent residence or green card at risk. So that would be crimes, right? And that would be long stays outside the country. If someone is able to naturalize, we try to have them naturalize, just because naturalization and becoming a citizen is an extra protection that would allow you to either travel as long as you want outside the country. If there's certain crimes, they wouldn't put your green card at risk. Going back to crimes, I know that here in California, marijuana is legal. Undocumented people shouldn't really like have a marijuana card. They shouldn't go to dispensaries, and definitely shouldn't engage in cultivation of marijuana. Similarly, for legal permanent residents, although it's legal in California, there are situations where maybe if there's a federal investigation or there are issues with being detained by a federal agency, if you have marijuana on you, it could pose a risk. So unless you're a citizen, we recommend that you shouldn't really engage with marijuana. If maybe someone thinks that they have a criminal record or maybe contact with immigration, they can ask for a Freedom of Information Act request or an FBI background check just to see where they stand as far as with possible immigration relief. If someone has some criminal issues that could be addressed with post-conviction relief, then they should try to address those. But that would be hiring not an immigration attorney, a criminal attorney, to try to go back to that case, reopen it, and see if they can maybe bring down the charges to something that wouldn't be having consequences to their immigration status, right? Unfortunately, expungements wouldn't work in the immigration realm because once you take a plea, that plea kind of follows you through your immigration history. So post-conviction relief would be going back, reopening the case, and trying to do something at that stage. Um, if someone's undocumented, they can consult with an attorney just to see what maybe possible applications for them for relief are available, and see if they were to be placed in the immigration court, if that would be something where that could help them, right? So that they can prepare for that application. There is an application called cancellation of removal that is only available in the immigration court. This application requires that someone have 10 years here in the U.S. They have good moral character. If 10 years if they're undocumented. There's also legal permanent resident cancellation, but that's a little bit different. But if someone's undocumented, 10 years here in the US, they have good moral character, and they can show that if they are removed from the country, that there's going to be hardship to spouse, parent, or child who is a legal permanent resident or citizen. So this application is kind of the application of last resort because you would be in front of an immigration judge and trying to cancel that deportation. If you win, you get to stay here, and then you have a green card. It's just that if you lose, there is a chance that you could be removed. Okay, so it's always good to consult with an attorney just to see what applications are available. Right, prepare with your family, maybe talk to them, just so that you are aware of what could happen if someone is detained. In our community, there's a lot of mixed status families, right? Just try to obtain documents for the children as far as passports, just because if someone is removed, sometimes just one parent wouldn't be enough to get that passport. It's going to complicate things. So if you can get passports for them, try to get passports. Um, Maybe also important documents, put them aside so that everyone knows where they are just in case. And if you had a consultation with an attorney, maybe have that number so that if someone is detained, they can call that attorney and see if they can help them. Okay. I don't know if I'm good on time or if I'm running a little bit long or.
You're good. No,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And then I think we're almost done, but I can maybe take some questions. I don't know if there's some questions in the chat, but just final thoughts, we are a nation of immigrants. They recently changed the logo with USCIS, just with the Statue of Liberty, and then just that message there. Okay. And here's our contact. Again, the different programs that we have: immigration, the VOCA, which is the Victim Legal Assistance Program, and landlord tenant. Okay. So I don't know if anyone had any quick questions maybe I can answer. Any other issues?
There was one question in the chat.
Okay.
And if others have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can also put it in the chat. So Mercedes says, Mr. Ibarra, do you conduct presentations for local agencies on this topic?
So we do, and if I'm not able to do so, we do have individuals within our organization that myself and the other attorney at our program, Fernanda Pereira, have trained. So if it's something that someone's interested in, they can always reach out to myself or the other attorney, Fernanda, and then we can maybe coordinate something, and then we can reach out to the community. Mhm.
Okay, great. And they just call this number.
They can call
for
this
that
number,
or
or I don't know if my email's not there, right? I can maybe type my email on the chat.
sure. I can
They can,
also put it in the follow-up email
yeah, if you can,
that
yeah.
goes out. I can do
Okay,
that.
thank you.
And
Mhm.
I see, Luz, you have your hand up.
Yes, Nelson, I had one of our parents who do, she is from she does have a green card, but she she didn't get that the what is it the the card, the license that has the what's it, the real ID.
Okay.
And her question was what if they stop me, for whatever reason, and they ask me for that, and are they going to look at that and see that I'm, and they're not going to know that I'm a resident, and they won't believe me? Will they still take me even though I'm telling them I am a resident? I'm not an elite. Do they do they ask those questions or?
So I think what is important is for community members to maybe be uniform in the way that they approach things so that individuals who are undocumented might not be targeted specifically, right? So what we tell the community is that if you don't have to get a real ID, don't get it. Just because that could be a way, like you mentioned, that ICE could maybe target people if they don't have the real ID, right? Like I myself, the other attorney, a lot of people from our department don't have the real ID. So, and I'm a citizen, right? And other people who are citizens, they still have the regular driver's license. So if we all, as a community, keep our licenses that way, then it won't be a way that ICE could maybe see that as an indicator that that
Mm,
person is undocumented, right? If you were to be stopped and you're a citizen, again, if it's highway patrol, if it's the police or the sheriff, they shouldn't really be asking those questions, right?
mhm,
If it's ICE itself and they stop you, I don't think it's going to be something where they're just going to be targeting you if you're just driving down the street. It's going to be
mhm,
something that they're going to target you because they know they can detain you and uh, put you in expedited removal, which means just maybe like in a couple of days you're going to be deported, right? Because they're not going to be, or at least that's my point of view, that they're gonna not going to be wasting resources on individuals. Like, let's say that they detain me. I mean, they're just going to be wasting their time, right? And it's going to eat up resources that they don't have. I think ICE is already taxed as far as an agency already, and they're not going to be just like I said, casting such wide net that they're just going
mhm,
to detain anyone. They're going to go after people that they know that they can detain and deport,
mhm,
right? If it were to arrive at a situation like you said, if they were just, let's just say that they stop her because there was a mistake. ICE, through their name, through the social security number, are going to be able to pull up that that person is a legal permanent resident, right? Now, if they have some criminal issues, that could be a problem. But if there isn't anything there, then they really can't do much. So they
mhm,
would just walk that away, let that person walk away, right? And I think it's important to just go back to the presentation. And if you're stopped, ask them, why am I being stopped, right? Can I
mhm,
leave? Because they really shouldn't just stop you if you're just driving down the street, or driving down the road, or just walking down the street, right? So I think it's just important to let the community know, right? And kind of stick together. If you don't have to get the real ID, don't get it, just because that way they can't just see that as just an indication, right? If everyone had a just a regular driver's license, then um, they wouldn't be able to tell who's documented, who's undocumented. So I think that's kind of what we're trying to let the community know.
It's kind of late for that. Or that to tell everybody let's be together and not get the real ID. Mostly everybody has it now because they were pressuring, like have your ID before a certain date. So now everybody that I know is like, oh, I gotta go get I had to go get this. If we would have known all this, we all would have got together as a community, say don't get it. That way they won't, target people like in that area like that. So that's kind of hard. Even some of my parents are like, I'm carrying with me this and that. The only thing that I was like, well, don't carry your Mexican, your card because that's the only ID they have, or they don't know what to do. They're like, they might be the police. I don't trust them. What if they do ask me? Like you said, they shouldn't ask you, but you never know.
Yeah, so just again, just be careful. And if it's something where they have a driver's license still, like just because you have a driver's license doesn't mean that's not the real ID, shouldn't be an indication of that. So if they try, if it's sheriff, police, again, a local agency, they shouldn't be asking questions. If they are, then maybe if it's safe, record the interaction just so that you can report it to the appropriate authorities, right? If it's something where it's ICE, right, you can just present your card. If they start asking questions about where you're from, don't answer them, right? And again, if it's something where you're detained, it might be uh, your goal is going to be to try to get in front of an immigration judge, right? So
Yeah.
so that would be it. But again, I know that this things are constantly shifting, right? And we're just trying to get the information out as best as we can. But as far as the driver's license, just having a driver's license, at least
Yes.
it's an extra protection because then you're not presenting a passport, you're not presenting, like you said, some type of other document. And definitely don't carry any of that with you. If you're, just put it in a safe place and keep
Safe
it.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
out there at the in the community, and they are that we see the difference of everybody being scared. Even though they say it's not here, it's not happening, but even my parents are like, we don't go together anymore anywhere. One goes and the other one stays just in case something happens. Somebody's there with the kids. If we both together, they'll take up both, and then our kids are alone. They're thinking of so many things, and it's sad. I mean, this is what they tell us.
Thank you, Luz. There's some real fears and concerns out there. And thank you so much, Nelson, for the information. We have another question in the chat. It says we have a parent who is scared and will keep their kids home from school. What can we tell them to help ease the anxiety?
So as far as schools, they really shouldn't or they wouldn't be able to just enter the school. As far as public places, which are the street, right? They could just wait there. But the thing is again, going back to the presentation, they can't just detain anyone that's just walking into the school, dropping off their kid. There has to be a reason for it. If they try to stop someone, I think their goal is going to be to try to maybe get some information where that person would be incriminating themselves, right? But I think if it's something where they're just dropping off their kid, they haven't had any contact with immigration in the past. They haven't had any contact with the police. There shouldn't be a reason why they would detain that person, right? That person could just probably just walk away. But it's just letting them know that they have to try to de-escalate it, right? Just tell them, I'm not, am I being detained? Can I leave? Right? So it shouldn't be that much of a fear. As far as going into the school, schools generally are going to be something where they have policies based on school to school, but from the feedback that we received is that most schools are just going to let ICE go into the school. They would have to follow the same steps that any other visitor would, where they would have to like sign in with the main office, right? And let them know that they are there to either search for someone, right? Specifically, and then they can try to like get that person into the office, but they're not just going to let them run wild into the school.
Thank
So
you. And we do have representatives from Stockton Unified who will be sharing next, and so maybe they can share a little bit on that from a district perspective. I have another question from Mary Mary Wolfel who says, "Are there any programs available to help parents get passports for their children?"
depending on the consulate, if for US passports, I'm assuming.
Yes, I'm
Um,
assuming so.
yeah, if it's a passport, it would depend on consulate to consulate. I know that there's a Mexican consulate in Sacramento and there's one in Fresno. There are limited usually appointments available and they open on up every Wednesday. They fill out very fast. There is a number that maybe I can email you and then you can share. But if you call that number, usually every hour on Wednesday, they open up new appointments. And if they do, they can try to get an appointment there. We are working maybe with the consulate to try to see if we can have them come down to San Joaquin County. I know that sometimes it's hard for them to come down, but we are trying to see if we can arrange for that. And if that happens, we'll let community members know and we can reach out. But at this time, if it's something where they're trying to get a passport from their home consulate, I know that for Mexico, it's going to be Sacramento or Fresno. For other countries, I know that a lot of the consulates are going to be based out of San Francisco. Some of them do walk-ins, some of them require appointments. So I would check the consulate to see how they can arrange for that. As far as the U.S. passport, I know that they can go to the post office, fill out a form. If both parents are here, it's going to be really simple because both parents go to the appointment and help that child get that passport.
Great, thank you. Hopefully that answers the follow-up question you had, Mary.
They do
Thank
have them at Recorders, Giovanna, at Recorders. They do the pa U.S. passports for children who have, or anybody who has never had a passport. And I believe they were starting to do renewals.
Okay.
So now the post office, you just get it, fill it out and everything. Now at the Recorders, they require appointments, but they do it everything there.
Okay. Thank you, Luz. Okay, there's a lot of information, a lot of great information. So, thank you again to Nelson Ibarra. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your time this morning. The presentation he shared today will go out in a follow-up email, and I'll also be sending out his contact information so you can reach him directly for additional questions or support. And with that, if you want to stop sharing.
Thank you.
Nelson, thank you so much. We're gonna transition to the next presentation. I mentioned earlier that we're the other topic that we want to spotlight today is transitional kindergarten and kindergarten readiness. And so we have a few representatives from Stockton Unified. Liz Yang is a school readiness coordinator with the early childhood education department at SUSD. Sandy Thornton, who's also a school readiness coordinator with the ECU department at SUSD. And then Nancy Yang Chilson, who's a coordinator of admissions and family services. Thank you all so much for being with us. And I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to you, Sandy.
Thank you, Dana. Interesting. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. I am Sandy Thornton, and I am one of two school readiness coordinators with Stockton Unified's Early Childhood Education Department. And assisting me today are my colleagues Liz Yang, who is also a school readiness coordinator, and Nancy Yang Chilson, who is the coordinator for our Early Childhood Department of Admissions and Family Services. We're going to be going over transitional kindergarten and kindergarten readiness and how your families can ensure that their children are prepared. So without further ado, essentially, transitional kindergarten, otherwise known as TK, is a bridge between preschool and kindergarten that follows a curriculum that's tailored to young learners. TK offers a play-based environment with a hands-on approach, so students are able to further develop academic skills with an emphasis on improving their social and emotional development, so they are increasingly successful in kindergarten. Kindergarten, also known as K, offers a formal academic environment where children engage in more structured learning, which includes but isn't limited to reading, writing, and math, along with their social development to prepare for first grade. At Stockton Unified, we strive to engage our parents in their child's academic careers and let them know that simple daily interactions to help provide excellent opportunities to enhance their child's development and to never underestimate the value of 15 minutes of quality time because they are, after all, their child's first teachers. So let's dive into the specific areas of development and how parents can support their children. All of these areas are applicable to both TK and K. So before a child enters into TK or K, there are some areas of focus for them to be successful. For example, social emotional readiness is a predominant one. Can the child follow simple instructions like put your backpack in your cubby? Can the child express basic emotions and needs with words or gestures like, I need help or I'm sad? Families can help support their children by encouraging independence and allowing wait time for the child to practice the skill, like allowing their child to put on their shoes, open a snack container, or simply clean up toys. Oftentimes, parents think it's just easier and quicker for them to do it. But by fostering independence and it being it's a lifelong skill. worth allowing a bit of extra time. Parents can also teach their children to properly communicate their feelings instead of identifying them for their child. Parents can allow the child to express themselves with support to begin, and then further allowing them the time to think through their feelings to be able to identify them. Phrases like, I am sad because, or I need help with, will enhance their overall emotional well-being. Now, socialization is extremely important for young learners. It lays the foundation for a child's future social interactions, emotional development, and overall well-being. It significantly impacts their success in school and later in life. Strong social skills learned can be a primary predictor of future achievement as an adult. Being helpful teaches children to think about the needs of others. Comforting teaches tolerance, acceptance, and reinforces a sense of self-security. Taking turns teaches the basic rhythm of communication. Proper socialization creates a strong sense of self with being a successful member of society. Language and communication skills enables children to understand instructions, express themselves, build relationships with peers, and engage effectively in learning activities. Going into TK or K, it is best if children understand and can respond to basic questions like, what's your name? Or do you want a red or a blue crayon? While having the ability to use or repeat simple sentences like, I want the blue crayon, or I like apples, or simply, I see a big dog. Families can help their children by reading to or with them daily and asking open-ended questions like, what do you think is going to happen next? So that they can build strong comprehension. Talking throughout the day helps children learn and process information better. Use self-talk by describing what you're doing, like, I'm stirring the soup. Oh, it's hot. The cadence of singing songs and rhymes also helps children with language and rhythm and memory. It helps them with language, rhythm, and memory. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and hand it on over to my colleague, Liz Yang.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Oh, I think you're going to have to put yourself on mute, so never mind. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Before I start, I wanted to just say thank you to First Five for allowing us the opportunity to be with you this morning. It's always so great and wonderful to see our community partners during this time. And so just some or more additional school readiness skills that we'd like to share with you in hopes that you can take that information and share it with your families. If they have questions or are just, wondering, is my child ready for school? And so just before I start, I wanted to reiterate that before children can grasp academic competence, they need to be socially and emotionally competent first. And so just sharing some cognitive and early learning school readiness skills. Our child recognizes some letters, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, shapes, colors, just playing simple games, counting around the house, that the child can show curiosity, again, by asking why or how questions. Examples of, why is the sky blue? Why do we have to stop at the red light? Can sit and focus on a short story or activity for a few minutes. This helps foster self-regulation skills needed for school success. What families can do is, again, just throughout the day, incorporate counting into the routine, counting out, say, snacks. I'm going to give you 5 grapes. Count with me. Identify shapes and colors throughout the day, pointing out colors while dressing, or just, environmental print, pointing out shapes as you're going about the day. And then also providing for young children simple puzzles. Young children, puzzles, we recommend puzzles with knobs for easy grasping. And, that will teach spatial awareness, as well as, patterns that match shapes or colors and so forth. In regards to motor skills, and I'm going to be talking about fine and gross motor skills, just, making sure some school readiness skills are that a child can trace simple patterns and their name. Just wanting to share that when tracing their name, sharing with families that they start with the the first letter in their name is always uppercase, and then the remaining of the letters in the name are lowercase. I know sometimes families say it's easier to teach them all uppercase, but when they come to school, they're going to need to know that the very first letter in their name is uppercase and all the rest has to be lowercase. For them to just be able to grasp objects with precision, string things, be able to run, jump, climb, and just have that balance and coordination. And attempts to take off simple clothing, again, self-help skills, put on their jacket, put on their shoes, take off their shoes. Kindergarten teachers have asked also in the past, teach them how to tie their shoes. And so they've shared that with us many times in the past. And so practical ways that families can support at home is just encouraging them to provide opportunities for their child to just practice, cutting, well supervised, of course, with child-safe scissors. And the number one thing, and I'm a strong proponent of this because in the classroom, I've seen this truly does help, is allowing the child an opportunity to work with Play-Doh. Just that pounding and that squishing and that just molding of that Play-Doh allows for those fine muscles in their fingers to be ready for all these writing skills that will come into play while they enter school. So just encourage, just have Play-Doh. If anything, just provide them with Play-Doh. Let them squish and mold and gross motor, just playing games, making it fun. Outside, when the weather's nice, let them go out and play jumping, climbing, practicing balancing on one foot, make it into a game. Left foot, right foot, and then just some self-help routines. Practicing, making sure that you incorporate into the day the child, the ability to get dressed, brush teeth, and do things on their own to foster, just these self-help skills for parents to, walk them through bathroom use, encouraging and teaching wiping and flushing and hand washing that, over time will become automatic, and then follow simple steps, 2 steps, pick up your toys, help put it in the box. So when doing this and incorporating these into the daily routine opportunities, again, it helps foster independence and confidence. And then, of course, just, reading, encouraging, we know reading is important. Just 15 minutes a day really does make a world of difference. Identifying, when reading, just have parents talk about, don't just read the book and then close it up. Talk about the author and illustrator and the top of the book, the bottom of the book, identifying characters, making predictions, identifying rhyming words. After reading, see if the child can retell the story. Discuss key events or morals of the story. What happened at the beginning? What happened in the middle? What happened in the end? Allowing them to draw pictures and to be creative, allowing them to use different mediums of writing. pencils, color pencils, markers, washable markers, and again, ask open-ended questions, opportunities to express thoughts, ideas, as well as understanding and using questions, words like who, what, when, where in discussion that will allow for these skills so when they go into the classroom and in group settings or during formal instruction, your child has had that opportunity to practice. And then just again, and we talk to our parents about the importance of talk, read, sing, draw, play. Again, it makes a world of difference, we all know. And with home and school collaboration efforts, we know that that is what determines the success of individual students and children. Makes a world of difference. And just a little quote from Dr. Seuss, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And so, I want to take this opportunity to thank our community partners and everything that you do in supporting our families on a daily basis. Thank you so much. And, just supporting and focusing on the whole child is what our daily lives are. And so, again, just thank you so much for all that you do and ensuring that each child enters school and is successful. And next is Nancy Yangchausen, our Admission and Family Services Coordinator, and she is going to share some information on registering for TK and kindergarten. Nancy?
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, First Five, for allowing me to be on this platform to give you some logistics in regards to Stockton Unified's TK eligibility and how to really apply for the program. Here's a timeline to show all the community members how to engage in the dialogue and deciding what age group your child or parents' children will be going. And so wanted to share with you in quick short note, with the state of California changing their guidelines to enrollment, TK is definitely age appropriate for all 4-year-old before September 1st, meaning if your child is going to have their 4th birthday on or before September 1st, they qualify for the TK program. Okay. And then kindergarten, really short, 5 before September 1st. So if your child is going to be 5 or is 5 on or before September 1st, your child's age eligible for the kindergarten program. The little hairy part about TK and preschool is because it's up to the parent and how they choose on what grade to enroll their children to. And so just understand that a child who's TK eligible is also eligible for preschool should the parent decide to give a little bit more of a social emotional at the preschool level before transitioning to TK. It's totally up to parent, but we're here to help navigate those conversations with the parents. So please, Stockton Unified welcome parents to have those dialogue with us, but we also want to make sure our community members, you guys understand that those are the age eligibility for the TK and kinder program. TK kindergarten enrollment with Stockton Unified, we do have a centralized enrollment center that processes all our TK to high school enrollment. And so to share with you all, you do have to live within Stockton Unified boundary, and I believe that's with all school districts. Some of the required documents that you have to provide to complete enrollment are a valid parent or legal photo ID, 2 proof of address, a proof of child's age, that's birth certificates, hospital record, something that shows the child's birthday and age. And then obviously the current immunization record. There are 2 ways parents can apply or enroll for our kindergarten or TK. If you are a Stockton Unified parent already and has a parent view account, you are able to complete an online application through your parent view account. If you don't have one, we're here to help. or you can go in person, no appointment needed. It's a walk-in basis, and the address is located there at 1800 South Sutter Street. They are there from Monday through Friday from 8 to 3, and again, with just walk-in basis. I do want to share a little bit of information that's our requirement. However, as you all know, we have the different community members here. For TK, if they live outside of Stockton Unified Attendance Zone, you want to check with their local school district. However, we do honor what they call a inter-district transfer letter and approval. And what I really want you to get out of this is Stockton Unified's TK is operated a full day program. So most of our schools are like 8 to 2. And here in Stockton with Lincoln and Lodi Unify, their TK is part day. And we know most of our families can benefit the long day program. And so please don't be discouraged if you have families who do not live within, but definitely can qualify for the TK because they meet the age qualification. Check in with their local school district and ask about the inter-district transfer. Because if we have openings, we will honor those inter-district transfer sometime throughout during the summer time. So don't be discouraged. Please share that information with our parents in the community because TK is definitely a longer day program with us. Another thing that I also want to make sure you take away is Stockton Unified has partnered up with the San Joaquin A Plus for our college savings account. So please, for this school year 25-26, as you start having dialogue with your parents and navigating, helping them with deciding on schools and all that good stuff, college savings account is coming to Stockton Unified. And in short, they will be helping our 4-year-old children in depositing money into their college savings account. So more to come on with that information as we iron out the details of how to complete enrollment. Not all school district in San Joaquin County, it has partnered with San Joaquin A Plus, but we've been fortunate that Stockton Unified has been able to partner up with San Joaquin A Plus regarding all of the college savings account. And then next slide, Sandy. This is all of our contact information. Again, Nancy Chilson, I'm the coordinator of admissions and family services. My email address, my extension with direct line, along with Sandy and Liz Yang, our early child education school readiness. Here are our contact information. Take a screenshot, slides to follow by Ivana. Any question, please, we welcome you to reach out to us so we can have those intimate conversation with parents who are, want to understand the curriculum, want to know the logistics of how to enroll. Do I qualify? Please let us help navigate our parents so they can make informed decision regarding their TK enrollment.
Thank you. Lucy, you have a question? Oh, we can't hear you. Nope. No, no audio. Do you want to drop your question in the chat? Maybe. And while you're figuring that out, Luz, yeah, I don't know what's happening. But Luz, you can drop your question in the chat if you want, and I'll share it. And while you're figuring that out, I did, and if anyone else has questions, please unmute yourself or drop a question in the chat. But I know one thing that has come up is just parent concerns about school safety. Can you maybe just kind of briefly address what are some of the measures that Stockton Unified has taken to ensure the safety of kids? I think that would be kind of helpful messages for providers to be able to pass on to families that are navigating some of that.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you. I know that right now are, just undoubtedly scary times right now for our families. And so I know that Stockton Unified recently passed a resolution number 24-41. It is notifying all school staff members that if ICE was to come on campus to immediately notify the superintendent's office and do not allow ICE, based on what it says here, do not allow ICE to come onto campus unless there is a warrant, a judicial warrant. And again, all school personnel are to again notify our superintendent's office as soon as possible. There are steps here listed, but again, we do not allow that to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Yeah. Are there any other questions? We got a couple questions about whether or not the slides will be shared. Absolutely. I know there's a lot of great tips and information contained within your slide deck. Does that information exist in a handout or some kind of something that can be passed on to families? I was curious about that.
It was, I mean, there's a lot of information available. And so we had to pick and choose specific areas because it is incredibly broad.
Yeah.
So is it condensed? No, not really.
Okay.
It could be a handbook. I could, I could publish a handbook. But it was having to pick and choose just a few bullet
Got
points.
it. Okay. But so you will get the slide deck though, so you'll have the information there. I also want to just take the moment to plug First High San Joaquin has a parents website, which does have different information, especially around like the talk, read, sing, draw, play messaging that was referenced in their presentation. So, and that site is sanjoaquinparents.org. So there are some downloadable materials and other content there that you can pull from as you're working with families to support them getting their kids ready for school. Okay. Is there any other questions?
I just
Yes.
want to give a shout out. This is Mary from Read to Me Stockton, and I want to give a shout out to Stockton Unified. We're working together and they're doing this amazing job as families come in to register for TK. They're checking if they already are signed up for Read to Me Stockton, and if not, they're signing the child up and any younger siblings. So we're really grateful for that support, and it's a way to get books into the hands of families. So anybody else that wants to help with that, we're really excited about the possibilities. So thank you, Stockton Unified.
Mm. Wonderful. Thank you, Mary. Anything else? Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, thank you.
Just
Alana, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I wanted to say that we are registering right now for TK, kinder, preschool, and any child who is 3 years of age is age eligible for preschool. There are income eligibility requirements, but if you have any students that you know of that could utilize a socialized environment, a more formal setting than at-home instruction, please send them our way.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And then I just have one last thing. We do have a training coming up for individuals. I know that I rushed a lot of the information, but it's going to be more detailed. It's going to be on March 22nd. We do have a flyer, and we ask that you register beforehand, and I can maybe send that to you, and then you can distribute it. But it is going to be in Modesto on March 22nd.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much to all of our presenters. Thank you again, Nelson, and thank you to the team at Stockton Unified, Sandy and Liz and Nancy. This is wonderful information, and you'll get it all. So look out for that email. If you don't get the email announcements about the Community Links meeting, so if you didn't get the one announcing this meeting, then you probably won't get the follow-up email. And so I would encourage you to um, I'm going to put my email in the chat. So if you're not getting communications, then I can add you to the distribution list to make sure that you get it, because you may have got this invite, maybe someone forwarded it, to you, but I want to make sure you all get the follow-up. So there's my email. So email me directly with your email address, and I'll be happy to add you to the distribution list. Okay. And so we're going to wrap up this meeting with just a few kind of final updates and announcements, and I'll kick us off, and then I'll hand it over to you all if you all have anything going on, any events, any new programs or services that have launched, any resources to spotlight. Please feel free to share. But the first thing I wanted to spotlight is, and I welcome anyone from Catholic Charities to speak to this better than than I could, but we did get this announcement, and we wanted to make it available, especially it being related to the topic for today around, supporting immigrant families. But they are hosting a talk. And it's a virtual talk, so families feel a little safer joining, but it's specifically for parents, and they're going to offer some information and just provide the opportunity for parents to ask questions and for there to be some dialogue around the topic of supporting our community better supporting immigrant families and resources that are available to them. So that's happening on March 28th. This flyer will go out in the follow-up email. Also, our San Joaquin County Public Health Services and the other partners that are engaged in the work of our community health needs assessment, and then the CHIP, which is the Community Health Improvement Plan, that is then put out, which has different recommendations and strategies to address some of the needs in our community around health and safety. They are in the community feedback phase of that process. And so it's really important that that the public health and all the partners involved, that we're able to hear from the community what is important to them. And so this flyer will go out in a follow-up email, but just please encourage families, pass the flyer along. All they have to do is scan the QR code and just spend 5 minutes filling out the survey, and they get entered into a raffle to win a $100 gift card, which is nice. But we want to make sure that we spread the word about this. We only have about another week to gather this feedback from the community. Okay. Also, we were fortunate enough to get some support from the First Five Region, who is sponsoring a local CPR training. This training and certification is free to home visitors. So if anyone conducts home visits in San Joaquin County, you can participate in this training, CPR and first aid certification, and it includes like a Narcan, like administering Narcan, like that part two. But that is free to the home visitor. If you are not a home visitor and you would like to participate, you can. It's just we cannot cover the cost of the certification. You'd have to pay for that yourself. But registration is open until it closes in about a week or so, or until we reach capacity. Okay, this flyer will go out as well. Also, really excited about this one. So we have the opportunity again, thanks to some sponsorship from the region, the First Five Region. We are going to be hosting an art therapy workshop. It's a wellness event for home visitors. Please save the date. Registration isn't quite open yet. I just wanted to kind of just give you a little save the date for today, but we'll be sending out this flyer and opening up registration officially very soon. But this really is just an event for just some time to take a breather and relieve some stress and do some team building and just have a good time. We have a professional art coach that's going to be facilitating this session, and it's really being done with the wellness of our home visiting workforce in mind. Okay. So there's that. There's a lot happening over the next few months. So there's a trauma, responsive and resilience building practices for early childhood providers training. CAPK is our partner for this training, and they're going to be facilitating this three-part trauma-informed training series. So it starts in May. Registration is open. You'll get this flyer as well. So I would encourage you to just go ahead and register and save these dates if this is something that you're interested in. And this is open to anyone, providing services to families in San Joaquin County. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna stop sharing, and give you all the opportunity to share and provide updates about
Joanna,
anything
there
that
was
may
a
be going on.
question in the chat about the
Yes.
cost of CPR training.
So, if you are providing home visiting services in San Joaquin County, there's no cost to you to participate or to be certified. If you are not a home visitor, but you're providing services to families, you can participate in the training. The certification fee, though, if you want to be certified, I believe it is on the flyer, or it's 100 and something. I'm not sure. It's either on there's either detail on the flyer or when you register, there's detail in the registration process. And I'm sorry, I don't have that number in my head, but there is a cost that you would be responsible for paying to get the actual certification if you wanted that. Otherwise, you can just participate in the training. Thank you, Kathy. Okay. Thank you, Mercedes. Any other updates or announcements or anything going on that you all want to share about?
Giovanna, this is Show with the help on San Joaquin. Good morning,
Hello, good
everyone.
morning.
So I just wanted to just remind everybody there is the VITA program that's available to our families in the community that as long as they reach they qualify. Um, and so, depending on what days of the week they are available or they want to go see a tax as a VITA place, they can just call 211. So, depending on their address and then what day of the week they want, 211 will go ahead and schedule them. Help on the San Joaquin District has partnered up with United Way. So, Help on the San Joaquin, our main office is a VITA site that's open on Saturday. So, just remind your families this is a free service to our families as long as they are within the eligibility requirements. Okay, so call 211 if needed. I don't know if you have the flyer, Giovanna. If not, I
I
can
do.
email you.
I'll
Okay,
send it out. Yep.
perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Shua. It's such a great
Absolutely.
resource for families here in San Joaquin County. So, if you remember, we had that topic spotlighted at our last Community Links meeting. But I will absolutely thank you, Shua. I'll send out that flyer as a follow-up to this meeting as well.
Thank
So
you,
you have it
Giovanna.
again. Thank you.
All right.
Other announcements
Good
or
morning.
updates?
This is Stephanie with San Joaquin County Office
Hello.
of Education. I just wanted to do a friendly reminder. We still have about 2 openings for our Father Engagement Training Series. It's a series that starts officially tomorrow. Today we'll be having an orientation, and the training consists of 5 sessions that we help educators gain skills to be able to interact with the whole family. So there's presenters topics on co-parenting, addressing biases, father engagement, and it's full of many, many, many more topics. So I hope to see you all there. I'll drop the flyer in the chat. And if you have any questions, please let me know. But this is specifically for home visitors.
Thank you, Stephanie. Really excited about that training series. It's going to be a great one. Okay, so Claudia, hi Claudia. It says we're happy to announce that the Dental Care Link van is ready to be used at our first day using it will be this coming Monday with VMRC patients. So VMRC is Valley Mountain Regional Center patients. We will be doing some home visiting dental care. Claudia, I probably butchered your update, so if you want to share more about that, please feel free. But it sounds like there's a new dental care resource that's coming to our community, like a mobile van, mobile clinic maybe, that will be available. I'm sorry, I don't know more about it. Do you want to share? Or if you have a flyer, feel free to send it to me and then I'll send it out. Okay, thank you, Claudia. All right. Other updates? Anything else going on? No? Is that wrap us up? Okay, I'm going to show you guys my just ending slide because I want to make sure you have um these final thoughts, okay? So if you have ideas for upcoming Community Links meetings, please, please, please email me. I appreciate those that many of you have presented at Community Links and spotlighted resources and shared topic ideas. Please keep that coming. We want to make sure that what we're doing at Community Links is responsive to community needs. So if you have ideas, or if you would like to present or share a resource or about a program at Community Links, please email me and let me know. If you have a new team member that you want added to this distribution list to get these emails and updates directly, then please email me. I put my email in the chat and I'll make sure they get added to the distribution list. Our next meeting is on April 4th. So this meeting, the Community Links meeting, is every first Friday. And so we will see you in April. Topic to be determined. We're still working that out. Okay. Anything else? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I see. I got you, Claudia. I see your note there. Thank you. She'll share more via email and I'll pass it along to you all. Okay, I think that concludes our meeting today. You all have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.